everybody. It is 10 o'clock and you're joining our first home-based meetup of the week. I am Cammie Nairn with NCDPI and we're going to get started today. Thank you all for joining. I did put in your chat the links to our opening session slides. We're going to start with those and then we will go to the NCEES session slides. So we are working in WebEx today, or presenting in WebEx today. So if you're new to WebEx, most of you have been joining us all year. We're going to give folks a few more minutes to join. We had about 50 sign up, so hopefully we'll have a few more folks join in today. But we are using WebEx, and if you use your chat for most of your questions, then everybody that has the same question as you will see that question, and we'll get those answered today. If you feel you have a private question, you can open the Q&A, and it's under your three dots. Chat may be under your three dots in your menu action bar. If you would like to see closed captions, look for the little Martian guy. I did see on mine, it looks like a blue circle now, so that icon may have updated. And you can turn on those closed captions. We ask that you stay muted, but you're welcome when you have a question to unmute or put that question in the chat. So this is your session. I do want to hear your questions out loud, and unmute any time, and don't feel like you're interrupting. Home-based meetup overview. Let me put this back in the slides again. Dr. Dietrich had another meeting this morning, so we're going to do the overview without Dr. Dietrich this morning. Most of you do know that he was promoted to our Director of Digital Teaching and Learning, and we now need a home-based manager. So get your applications in to be the home-based team boss. We appreciate all the work you guys do for us, and if you're interested in that position, please look for that and apply for the home-based manager. We are going to be covering our home-based products this week, and we are the definitive seamless go-to digital resource for North Carolina. That's going to include your SIS, your instructional improvement system, your LMS, your open educational resources, your educator evaluation system, digital literacy, and the supplemental math products. And of course, we always like to foster this communication with you guys out in the field to bring you news and to learn from you what will help you best to serve your stakeholders and your students in your school districts. We want that feedback to go back and forth between both sides, to be collaborative and coordinated to provide you with the best products you can use. So today's presentation slides links will be listed on this slide, and I did also put that in the chat. So NCEES slides is this link right here, the bit.ly HBMU NCEES 02 2022. And here's our schedule for this week. Today we're doing NCEES. Tomorrow will be SchoolNet with John Mars. John has also taken on a new role, and we will be posting his job soon. So if you like to work and be the product manager for SchoolNet, watch for that job posting as well. We're going to miss John. He still does work closely with us though. And then Wednesday will be doubled up. We'll have PowerSchool in the morning and learning.com in the afternoon. And then Thursday will be Canvas, and Friday join us for Go Up in NC. And here's your schedule. February, we're going to go through this whole week, and then your final meetup for this school year will be in May from the 2nd through the 6th. Here is our proposed schedule for 2022-2023. We did provide these dates to our home-based advisors a couple weeks ago. Just here for you, if you have any comments or any need for us to possibly look at changing any of these weeks for next year, please let us know. But we'll be doing the similar weeks to what we did this past year. We are going to try to go 2 times out face to face. So we are looking for districts to host us. If you're interested in hosting us, email us at the home base email or email Yolanda Wilson at dpi.nc.gov. That's Yolanda.Wilson at dpi.nc.gov. And let us know that you're interested in hosting home-based meetups during September or during May. So a little bit about our home-based meetup updates for PowerSchool. And my PowerSchool folks, if you're here and you want to say anything about any of these, I'm just going to read what's on the screen. But if there's anything anybody needs to know, please unmute. So PowerSchool, we have the homebound hospital present code for 2022-2023 has been implemented. The maintenance calendar 2022-2023, we're going to try to release that this Friday. And then please do remember, for all of you new coordinators for the SIS system, training will be held March 7th through March 11th. All right, does somebody want to speak? I hear somebody unmuted. I don't see them. Okay, we're going to move on. For SchoolNet, Transcend 2022-2023. If you're interested in Transcend for next year.
Hi, good morning. I can't hear you.
I think everybody else is hearing me. Audio is under the 3 dots. Sorry about this. If somebody can put that in the chat where they can go check their audio under the 3 dots. Thanks. All right, so for Canvas, the classic quiz will be sunset, but it has been delayed to June 30th, 2024. So you have another year and a half, 2 years to use that. And then Go Open NC, the at-home learning hub has been completed. For NCEES, we've implemented the district administrator central office view-only role to all staff and staff plans for superintendents. So that is a big change, so that the districts who have superintendents that need to have view-only access to all staff plans, they can now have that when you assign them the DA role. It does mean changes for people who are used to reopening and doing things like that, and we will have a slide during our NCEES presentation to explain more about that. And then training. If you believe you need any training on any of our products, please contact your product managers. We are happy to schedule that. We're happy to go out as needed. If you need training, just let us know and we'll work that out with you. Social studies standards are now available in SchoolNet and Canvas, and we are working with the vendor to get them in Go Open NC. And a PowerSchool spreadsheet is in development for those standards. Yeah, do we have any questions? We are on social media. We're on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. So please check those out. And there's your hashtags and your @ signs. Every week on Facebook, some of our products try to post some do you knows on Wednesdays, so watch for those. And then there's a video at the bottom down here where you can get a little Powtoon that we did with the home base overview. It's very, we enjoyed that, and it's been well received, explaining to people what home base is. All right, so at the end of the session today, there's your feedback link, and we will put it in the chat at the end of the session. There's all your wonderful team leads for the different products on this slide here. And we're ready to go to our NCEES session. Any questions about the opening slides? Any questions about what you've heard? So let me put the links back in the chat. And we're going to go jump over to NCEES. All right, we're up to almost 30 folks. That's great. Thank you guys for joining us today. There we go. All right, so for NCEES, and the links are in the chat there. We've already gone over WebEx. We've done the opening slides, and welcome to you guys. And we're going to go do some updates in just a minute. And then we will have some training time for those of you that would like a certificate. When you do the feedback, just elect to receive that certificate by email, and provide time for you guys to network and ask questions for each other. So please use your chat right now to put your name and your role and your PSU and school in the chat so everybody can say hello to each other. And so each other knows who is here today. Please open up your chat and put in your name, role, PSU, and school. And we'll try to read some of those out. So I hope you guys had a great weekend and are bright-eyed and bushy-tailed starting Monday this week. Oh, and I see Connie Babb of Longley School of the Arts, Billy Joe Harris, hey Billy Joe, and Cassie Carteret from Columbus County Schools, Torianne Dooley Kennedy and Charlotte Meck, Angela Cogdill from Granville County Schools. Great, thank you guys. Megan Williams from Cabarrus, nice. And Billy Joe, yep, you're Robeson County. Sorry, I didn't mention that a while ago. Deborah Clifton is Wake County Schools. We got a lot of folks. Dean Richardson from Alamance, Burlington. Kathy Parker with DTL. She's the Sandhills and School Library Consultant. Thank you, Kathy. Dominique Grady from Wayne County. Good, we're well represented across the state, it looks like. Gina Hutchins from Yadkin County Schools. Corey McNeil, he's our Canvas and Go Open lead here at NCDPI Home Base. Tara Patterson, Director of HR from Onslow County Schools. Cheryl Munn, HR Director in Charlotte Meck. And Miss Tessa Hines, she works with PowerSchool and does that initial product training and other trainings for the SIS system here at DPI. And Carrie, Spivey, Edison, and Chowan. Thank you guys. Good morning. Y'all can keep saying hello. And there's Miss Eleanor from Charlotte Meck. 9th year with NCEES. My goodness. Oh, so Eleanor, we need you to train us. And hey, Kyle, UNC West, digital communications lead. All right. So you guys can keep saying hi. I'm going to go through the next couple slides so we can get started. I did build in a little extra time in case we couldn't get finished by 12 because we do have a lot of slides to cover. But I did build in some time to 12:30 if you can hang out till then. So our NCEES contacts, here's a slide. Make sure that you go out to our DPI site. And if you're a charter, click on charter leads. If you're a PSU LEA, click on district leads and make sure your contacts are correct out there and work with your team to email us at home_base@dpi.nc.gov to update those contacts if they are not correct out there. NCDPI contacts, you see the list in the middle. Dr. Dietrich is, I mentioned earlier, Director now of Digital Teaching and Learning. And then we've, and I don't have Jennifer's email in here yet, but I'll get that in here. Dr. Kim Simmons retired, and that team has hired Miss Jennifer Bass to be our Educator Support NCEES Coordinator. So she's just now coming on board. So she will be learning a few things, and then she will be out and about with you guys. And then, of course, we have our awesome Home Base Advisory Board representatives. These are your peers that come join us quarterly at DPI and bring us your questions and concerns and update ideas for the future of NCEES and all the other products that we are using across the state. They bring those quarterly to NCDPI. So check those out. If you have any questions, just contact them, or anything you want us to know, contact them and they will bring it to the advisory meeting. If you're not a member of the NCEES email group, please do join that. It's an awesome place. It is managed by Brian Probst of Buncombe County and Sally Reynolds of Wake County. This is not DPI's group. This is your group for HR and NCEES, and you guys are great. And when you have a question, to post it, and everybody answers you. When you do answer, please reply to all so that everybody gets it, because the Google group just defaults to reply only to the person that created the email and doesn't always do the reply all. So make sure you click the respond to all. All right, it's time now for you to participate with the Padlet. Let me get this link. And if you're just joining us new this year and you've not used a Padlet before, we're going to go over that. Go out there, yes. So we're going to click on this. I did put a new screenshot. It's got a few updates. When you come out here, you're going to have columns where you can share any good news you have. It can be personal, it can be for your district, it can be for your school. And then any successes you've had in NCEES since the last time we met in November, any challenges that you've had in NCEES since the last time of November. And then we have a column for DPI action items. You just click the plus sign to add anything to the Padlet in any of these columns. You're going to get this little pop-up where you can put something in the top part in bold. That can be your topic or your name. You do not have to post your name. And then there's an area down at the bottom you can click in to do your additional text. You are allowed to comment on other people's posts, and you're allowed to heart them if you like the post that you see, and then just click publish. Down here at the bottom, you can change the color of your note, different things like that. So let's pop out there. I did put a link to last time we met, the November Padlet, down in the lower corner there. All right, so here's our Padlet, and so I don't have any music, but I'm gonna go mute for a few minutes. So please list your good news to share, any successes, any challenges, and then we'll talk about those and decide if we have any DPI action items. If you need added to the NCEES Google group, I need you to list your name and email. And if you do not get our NCEES bulletin that goes out weekly, please list your name and email in that final column. Any questions? All right, I'm going to give you a few minutes. Okay, looks like y'all are a little quiet. Please do keep entering your little notes in here for the successes and challenges and good news to share. We will get started, and if we're on your note, please do unmute. I see the very first one is getting a few likes, and that's COVID quarantines are decreasing. That's awesome, awesome news, because I also saw that it was under the challenges with COVID and quarantines and trying to do those observations. So I can understand that. Yes, working those out and then doing an observation and somebody goes out sick before you've had time to do the post conference. I'm sure that is a very big challenge. Let's see, successes. The new mentor courses look good. Yes, we're going to talk about NCVPS and their new courses in one of our slides coming up. So I'm glad to get that comment in there and see the comment on their new courses because they've updated almost all of their courses. And then let's look at challenges again. All right, evaluation type changes. Changing to another eval type requires recreating all activities, hoping we can look at options for next year for the workflow and dependencies. I'm going to be a Debbie Downer, probably not for next year because our current system, when you assign that new plan type for evaluations, it does, you do have to start over anew. And so if you assign somebody an abbreviated and they should be on a standard or they should be on a comprehensive, yes, you're going to have to re-enter what has already been re-entered when you give them the new plan type and then archive or deactivate the previous plan. When we get finally, I hope in a couple of years, to the new forms, good news, we are working with PowerSchool to test out the new forms, so we're getting closer, but they will probably not be in place for this fall. But yes, I understand that completely. But the new forms, we hope, will allow you to not have to re-enter those when changing a plan type. Staff absences definitely is a challenge when people are out sick, especially for this year. And then they have to stay quarantined for so long. So let's see. Canvas courses, accessing some state courses that are through Canvas when we are not a Canvas district. Okay, so the state courses are in DPI's version of Canvas. Let me see if I can show here. Make it a little bigger. All right. Whoops, a little too big. There we go. All right, so when you are in Rapid Identity, IAM, NCEES Cloud, whatever you guys call it, you're going to see this blue Canvas link. That's DPI's Canvas. If you are a Canvas district, you have another link that's red Canvas. So DPI's courses are in the blue Canvas, and you do not have to have the red Canvas to access DPI's courses. So what we need to check is when you are in NCEES, so we come to NCEES, we need to make sure that the account that you have in NCEES is also in Canvas, the blue Canvas. So we manually update that every few weeks. So some people that are new may not have gotten picked up and provisioned an account in Canvas. So that when you start a course, and it's a Canvas course, let's see if one of these, if you started a course and it's a Canvas course, so if you're searching for a course and go to start it and you get the, I believe it's the 403 message, just open a ticket or email myself or Corey McNeil, who's our Canvas lead, and we'll make sure to check the account in NCEES and recreate or update the account in Canvas so that when you click on a course that's Canvas, I don't know if I have one on here right now, that will link out to the Canvas site. So you should just be able to click on the link. It should jump you out to blue Canvas. So the reason you're not getting there is not because you don't have the red Canvas. It's because you don't have an account in the blue Canvas. Any questions about that? Yeah, and Corey, thank you, Corey, for putting your email in the chat. All right, that's all of those. Any changes since last year with the summary rating process? If somebody would unmute who put that in, do you have a specific question about that? There is not any changes that I know of with doing that summary evaluation rating process. Give you a minute to unmute.
Hey, Cammie, it's me, Kyle.
Hey,
Yeah,
Sheila.
I was just wondering if anything, sometimes things change with the whole process. So just wanted to check in to make sure everything was the same as last year.
It's still the same as last year system-wise. I don't know of any changes policy-wise.
Okay.
As far as I know, you're going to do it the same way as far as follow the help guide in
Yep.
NCEES for whichever plan type you're working in,
Mhm.
but they will be the same.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, guys, thank you for putting in those notes. We're going to jump back to the slides. All right, we're going to go over several updates that have happened since November. We've been working on compiling numbers, and I thought these were very interesting. So I wanted to share these with you about how many plans we've been doing over the past three years, considering we had the COVID year and we're kind of continuing with some COVID issues. So if you just want to read over those numbers, notice that the number of completed plans did go down in 1920 because of COVID, and you had to do the alternative evaluations, and you could attach them to the PDP and NCEES or store them manually in hard copies in your district. So there's the numbers. They went down, and then we're back up for 2020, 2021. On the left is the current number of active plans we currently have. So comprehensive standard, we have a bunch of abbreviated. And then late hire, those numbers I expect to go up as you hire new staff throughout the rest of this year. And they won't have the 200 days, so you can use the late hire plan. And then the PDPs, 108,000 of those, and the principal plans. The PD numbers were very, very interesting. So during the school year, the first graph that's up here is for the self-paced courses that people registered for and completed. You can see in 2018-19, 28,000 registered, 20,000 completed during that school year. 2019-20, 49,000 people registered, 36,000 completed. 2021, 60,000 registered and almost 50,000 completed. So you can see that increase where people were looking for professional development online and we're taking what we offered from the state in NCEES. This also includes numbers for you guys that are using your PD offices in NCEES, and you provided local PD through NCEES. Now the instructor led down here below, let me do this on the right. The top 5 courses for self-paced, when I pulled those numbers, were the ECATS courses, the mentor course that you mentioned, MTSS and SEL, those courses, the DTL Canvas and SchoolNet courses made the top 5. And then NCDPI, developing and maintaining a positive learning environment, was another top 5 course. And then for the instructor-led courses that are in NCEES, look at that jump between 1920 and 21, 535% jump in registrations and 700% jump in completions. So that is amazing to me. You guys really put some PD in NCEES because you guys usually build out the instructor-led courses more so than DPI. But we did also offer NC Bold courses the past couple of years, and those have been very well received. So NC Bold was in our top 5, the CTE New Teachers and ABCs of Work-Based Learning, the NCBPS courses, the Exceptional Children offered NC State Improvement Plan course, and Exceptional Children also offered Charter Leadership Institute. Those made our top 5 courses. And then there's just an overview of the credit types that were awarded for each year, 18, 19, 19, 20, 2021. Notice the jump in the DLC credits offered. So when we had our November session, we had one question that people wanted to know how to get school leaders to use their record of activity. So I included a slide here of where these are located. So when you are on the far left in your evaluation plans, you're going to have the container called Record of Evaluation Activities, and you just click on Record of Evaluation Activities. It will open up an edit window. This is for the administrator, the evaluator, to fill out. In the middle is your PDP, where to find it. It too has a PDP, Record of Activities, and there's the window that opens when you click into that. So the evaluation has a few more fields, but those are system filled in. So when you open up the edit, you are just going to enter in notes into the teacher background, and you can also attach files. So your help guides tell you to briefly describe the staff's educational background, the years of experience, the assignment, and any other factors that may impact evaluation. But most districts use this for is to enter notes, so that track the progress and transaction of the evaluation process. Has your teacher been out on leave? Put a note here. Has your teacher done something very important that should impact their evaluation process? Put a note there. That's a good area to include notes. Don't see any questions. So what's new since November? Here is your links to the HBMU from November, all the links to the slides and the recordings. And the excuse me, webinars that we've held since we last met. Here's the recordings for the middle of year processes. Most of you are probably wrapping those up right now. Then we just recently held admin reporting in NCEES, and we did a deep dive into ad hoc reporting last week. So there's the recordings and presentations there. So schedule for February and March. Next week, we're going to look at PD playlists. And then the following week, exporting those plans. Excuse me, got a frog. Exporting a plan to PDF reports for district administrators. This is a great end of year individual PDF report that you can do for your summary evaluations. You can also use it at the beginning of the year and over summer when you have those BT sessions and you need signature reports, but it will print an individual report for each staff member. So if you want to know more about this and how to plan this out, please join us for February 22nd. And then I will be at NCTIES on 3/4. So if you know folks that are attending NCTIES and they'd like to attend the NCEES session, it's called Growth, Goals, and Credits in NCEES. And this was very well received when we did it maybe a year or two ago for the teachers that attended. It connects what's in NCEES to where they can find PD, and where they can also look at their own websites, school sites, to find who's in charge of PD, who do they need to contact for approval processes and all of that. And then finally, we're going to wrap up in March with our webinars with our end of year processes for principal and teacher and support staff evaluations. Now, if you guys have money and need to purchase professional development for your staff, we are going to hold another premium library webinar, and we are focusing on EdStar Analytics. They now have courses in NCEES Premium Library that you can purchase for your staff. Now, you do need to be opted into home base so that you have a PD office, because when you purchase the courses, you then manage them in your PD office in NCEES. The roster, the completions will feed back just like they do with DPI courses, but you do need to manage your rosters and how you're going to publish those out. So please join us on February 16th from 12:30 to 1 p.m. It is not a very long session. It will be recorded. Sean Vare from PowerSchool will be presenting it, and the EdStar Analytics team will be there as well. It is a Q&A session as well as a refresher about Premium Library. All right, here's what we talked about earlier, the district administrator type access rights updates. So this screenshot is little, I know, but there are now 2 new fields in staff profiles that I can see as a super user. And that's can um, assign access rights and can assume identity. When I assign somebody as a district administrator, it defaults that you can do both of those. When you guys are assigning new district administrator, it's going to default that they cannot assume identity and they cannot assign access rights. So if you need the person that you're assigning a DA role to do either of those things, you need to fill out this request form. And I check that at least once a week, more often as needed, so that we can get these district administrators updated if they need to assume identity or can assign access rights. So if you want somebody to just be able to assign access rights and not assume identity, you can request one or both. And let's see. So I'm also in the process of creating a new district administrator guide, and that's here. I'm going to click on it to show you. It is going to be a true guide. So it's taking a little bit of time to build out. Let's see if it'll load up here. I did want to go ahead and share the link. This will be the link that will be posted on our help guides page once it's ready. But I just want to give you a preview so you can come out here and look. Just understand that it is in draft right now and it's not fully complete. So it's going to give you an overview of the system admin rights, the district administrator, the site administrator, what all that means, and the user level, which is what most of your teachers and support staff. In fact, everybody comes in at user level. The only one that doesn't are your site administrators that are principals with a budget cut of 114. They automatically are site administrators. And plus they get evaluator access by the system. All right, so I did want to show you these links in here. We previewed these before, and if you have any questions, please put those in the chat now. There's a link to how the DA administrator access rights flow chart flows. This was being a little slow today. I apologize. Turn off my video, maybe. So there's how everything flows when you're manually assigning somebody the district administrator admin type. Who are you going to assign it to, and which role? And there's the link to our NCEES Data V7 list of roles. If it's an administrative role or an instructional role, you can assign a district administrator, and I've seen them assigned to everybody. So if yes, when the staff is assigned the district administrator, what rights are they going to get? We're currently in process of testing out support roles, and you would not be assigning DAs to anybody on the support demographics. So down below, reopen, they will get reopened on all plan types except for the 3 superintendent roles. So if you are assistant superintendent or an assistant superintendent, you saw a change that you could no longer reopen activities for people in their plans. Those have to be manually added back if you have a superintendent role and you're a DA. You can do that yourself if you have the ability to assign access rights. And then instructional roles, everybody there, they all keep their reopen rights. If you need somebody that can archive and delete plans, that is connected to the reopen rights. So anybody that's assigned reopen also gets archive and delete plans. And then view only on all plan types, that's those 3 superintendent roles, the assistant superintendent, the associate or deputy superintendent, and the overall head superintendent. They now have view only to all plan types. And then here's where you're going to use that form to request can manage access rights or can impersonate or can assume identity rights. And then everybody, no matter what role you are, can go create ad hoc reports if you're a DA. Any questions about that? All right, and then this other chart here, if you really, really want to know who can do what and access which page in NCEES, this is also in draft. So if you're an admin type, if you're a super user, state administrator, region administrator, district administrators, what you guys are using, site administrators or users, what pages can you get to? You're going to see a green check mark depending on where you're navigating to. So if you really want to go see who can access what on what page, this is what is getting built out here. All right, I hope you guys are pleased with the updates to district administrator. I know there's been a little bit of a, I don't know if you call it a learning curve, but we did have those changes, so it's new. And hopefully by this next fall, everybody will be in place with how to update their district administrator. Here's just a screenshot of the district administrator who has access to what. Here's that superintendent role. They will not have reopen with archive and delete. You can be manually assigned in administration staff management, and they do get view only to all staff plans. All right, we had a fix for somebody was deleting document observation overrides because somebody had clicked into it and started it, and they knew they didn't need it, so they deleted it. Well, that deleted two other areas in NCEES, the pre-observation conference and the observation conference evaluator fields also deleted. PowerSchool found that the forms were all using the same form in the three areas for the document override, the pre-observation conference, and the observation conference evaluator acknowledgement. So now, before you click delete, now you're going to see in that document observation override area what you are going to be deleting. So we advise not to delete. It is okay if you've clicked into this document override when your teachers can actually sign off. The document override is used when your teacher refuses to sign off on an observation activity. And then the evaluator, the district administrator, or the observer, depending on what you want, who you want to do this in your district, can use the document override. So you do not need to delete it, but if you do, no, you're going to delete these other areas. And those now show in that container. We will be working with PowerSchool for the end of year process to disconnect these so that if you do delete and document override, it won't delete those other areas. We also fixed evaluators could not see the artifacts and notes that principals were in, principals were entering in artifacts and notes. So the evaluator should be able to see evaluator notes, and they should see any notes entered into artifacts and notes. When the principal clicks into the plan, they do not see evaluator notes. They only see artifacts and notes in the rubric. But the evaluator should have access to both, and this is now fixed. We've had a few maintenance and feature updates since November. The only two that really affected North Carolina was 21.12.0. And these are mostly the transfer credit manager to HRMS credit transfer process was fixed. And also the NCEES district administrator, when you guys assign a DA, they'll automatically be set to cannot assign access rights and cannot assume identity. And then just recently, this past weekend, and I need to get in and verify after today's meeting that this is fixed and resolve the transfer credit manager issue. There was one issue remaining where credits were not being exported as needed to HRMS through the transfer credit manager process. So that should be fixed as of today. All right, so we also had a couple recent issues since January. This was a repeat issue that happened 2 times. It was fixed in January, and then we had to go back in and refix it. PowerSchool has now fixed this. So there was a Moodle course access issue on when you started a new Moodle course, it gave you a message of you cannot enroll yourself in this course. And then there was also another issue with ad hoc reporting where the reports were erroring out when you were running those. And then there was a third issue where this I'm finished button, this should not work in North Carolina. You should actually go complete the course. You cannot click I'm finished and say you're done with the course without going and doing all the activities in the course. Somehow that got unchecked. It is now fixed back to where nobody can click I'm finished. And you ask, well, why don't they just hide that button? Well, we've asked that several times, and PowerSchool says they cannot hide the I'm finished button. So we have disabled it in the background so they cannot click I'm finished. Now, the other two issues are related. There was a certificate on the PowerSchool side that they had to update whenever they run their maintenance updates. And then when it happened again, they went back and they had enabled a check-in process to make sure that that certificate got its update for future updates that are going to be happening. So this should not occur again. They said they've checked all the boxes now. So we should hopefully not get any more errors on ad hoc reports, or you should be able to enroll yourself in the Moodle courses. All right, a lot of people were doing peer observations during this time of year, and so we published some peer observation resources. All right, what's new since November? Here's NCDPI. They updated many of their courses. They have built out the bulk of the courses that are in NCEES, and they have built them in Moodle. So now they've moved their courses over to Canvas. So you'll see some courses are sunset, and then other courses were rebuilt in Canvas. So here is a list of the courses that are rebuilt out in Canvas. And I wanted to post this because here's the old course number, here's the new course number, especially those of you using PD playlists. If you've got the mentoring course on a playlist, you're going to need to, I guess, build a new playlist with the new course numbers. Now, if they are currently in any of these courses right now, they have until February 25th, 2022, this month. February 25th, after February 25th, the course will be archived. So if they tell your staff if they're in any of these courses, they need to complete them by February 25th. If they're starting new, the registrations have been turned off on the old course numbers. Now they will only be able to find the new course numbers. All right. And then also, if you navigate to professional development, you can refine the page to find the NCVPS courses. Scroll down to the office refinement area, open it up, and check NCVPS, and you'll get a list of all the NCVPS courses. They also have a new website that replaced rt3nc.org. They've had this for a few months now, so most people know about this. But you can come out here and see the courses that they're offering. I'm trying to scroll down. So they do not have course numbers out here. They just have titles, but they have good explanations. They tell you what credit types they're offering. If it's general or digital learning, competencies, things like that. So that's another way for you to find what NCVPS is offering. And we do have this up here that maybe sometimes staff don't see, how to go to NCEES. These are my resources, and register for the courses. So they do have, people have resources to go to be able to sign up for the course in NCEES. All right, so what's new since November? We have our new home-based admin guidebook. We're just going to click real quick to show you what that looks like. This is probably going to jump to the NCEES page section. So admins, you have all, especially if you're a new district, you may want to come out here and read over this. It covers all the products. So you got Canvas, you got all the products out here. Just want to show you the homepage. So there they are. You can jump to whichever product you want to know about. And then we are building out Canvas, and I hesitate to say courses. I'm calling it the Product Support Center in Canvas. So this is what the NCEES page will look like. It is not published yet. I did want to show you this. So we're going to come out here and click on Blue Canvas. If you're in NCEES, you should have access to this. This is going to be the same. If you don't have access, you get a 403. Let Corey or I know. We're going to make sure you get out here. Down here at the bottom, I don't know if you can see this home-based resources. Currently Go Open and Canvas are ready to view. So you can come out here and see those. My area, oh, let me click that X, is going to be the NCEES admins. And it is not published yet, but hopefully we're going to get this built out within the next couple of weeks and publish it by March. So this is the home page. There's a support button for who you go to for support for NCEES. So we'll build that out. Come back to the home page. Getting started actually takes you to the modules that are going to be out here. So there's just a way to get to the different modules. Here's the NCEES overview. I'll put a link here to the guidebook that I just showed you, my welcome letter, the link to our NCEES information and resources site, the link to our page on the dpi.nc.gov site, a year at a glance in NCEES, and NCEES evaluation process year at a glance. Come back here one more time. If you're not used to Canvas, here is a Canvas support page that will help you learn about navigating Canvas. And you can also always email Corey. He is awesome and ready to help you with Canvas. Come back home one more time. Once you've had a chance to look out here, when I publish this, I do want your feedback for what you need out here. So you can provide course feedback when that's enabled. This is not ready yet, so we're going to click on one of the modules. This is beginning of year. So we're going to build out each of these tabs. It will not say what's here right now, but we're going to work on the documents you need, the steps you need to do for the beginning of year, all of this. So let me see if this is my. This is going to be based off of, we did a presentation with some of your NCEES reps at Western Pank last fall. And so this is what is going to be in those tabs. But I did include a link on your slides to this document because it's awesome. Not built really by me. This is built by your peers. So it's built out beginning of year for July, August, for September, what you're doing during mid-year, and then end of year. So check that out. And we're going to be building this out even more in the Canvas. Oops. Any questions about that? Anything you'd like to see in there? Here's that link to the evaluation year at a glance. All right, later this February will be an initial fix for the My Staff Administration Staff Management names that don't belong to the district. This is where you go to NCEES and you go to My Staff and you click on Administration Staff Management. And I don't know if you can see in this graphic very well or not, but here's Iredell, Statesville, and they had a couple names showing up from the American Renaissance School. Well, why are those names there? Usually that's because you have a staff that has more than one district location, and this person is connected to that staff. So usually it's a simple matter of your payroll or the previous district's payroll updating the inactive status or active status on the staff in payroll and uploading that to Staff UID. And that will remove names here. This fix is not going to remove these names. What this fix is going to do, it will trigger any current active plan. So if they started the year at American Renaissance and now their primary location is East Iredell Middle, then their plans from American Renaissance will deactivate when NCEES sees that they have a new primary location for East Iredale Middle. The previous district plan will deactivate, and the My Staff page will get set to teacher plan type and PDP type of not selected. So this is going into test soon, and PowerSchool is wanting to implement this before the end of the month. What does your PSU need to do? And because this is where I have a little heart palpitations, verify and clean up your staff data. This should be a collaborative effort between NCEES, the NCEES team on your district, and HR, finance, and payroll. If you're a charter and you're managed by Educator or some other third-party system, everybody needs to make sure their data is clean in staff UID. So this will allow that overlap that sometimes needs to happen. So when the previous district needs to leave the staff active in staff UID for 30 days, so that they can access other downstream systems, then they can do that. But the plan will deactivate so that the new district can start their own new plan. Make sure you check staff UID active statuses of all staff and ensure primary location is set correctly. So where does primary location come from? Here's your NCEES data V7. That's your different roles and what comes into NCEES. This, I want to look at the HR data import. If you are an HRMS district or a link HR district, they should be updating these the same time that they update payroll. You should also be updating your HR data on your staff. This is where the teacher classification codes come in. Here, primary location code. Make sure that that's in the HR data as well. Charters, you do not use this field because you are a primary location. So make sure this is correct here so that when it gets to UID, it will populate the primary location. But there's other steps. If you're not a HRMS district or a link HR district, you're doing this manually or you've hired somebody else to do this, you need to manually send us your HR data or this is not going to get updated. So I provide the username and password. You need to open a ticket. Let me know that you want access to submit your HR data because you are not using HRMS or Link HR. I'll provide the username and password to this system for you to update. All right, I feel like I've been talking a long time. Any questions? Here's what UID looks like if you've not seen it before. This is the vocational tab where the records show up. So all of these fields, except for maybe the alternate staff ID and the job class, affect what shows in NCEES. Your hire date. If one of these hire dates is off, that can affect what shows in NCEES. So make sure you check those closely if you're HR and you're doing this job. The salary is actually your object and purpose codes from the chart of account. That NCEES Data V7 document has the list of codes that provision access to NCEES. So for instance, 142 is not on that list. So this record, even though it's active, will not go to NCEES. And then the 121 codes, those are teacher classroom codes, does go to NCEES. So both of these bottom ones will show up in NCEES. So here we have an issue because we have two different districts that say the staff is active. So both of these districts will show up in NCEES and can cause that overlap issue that we saw on the administration staff management page. One of these needs to go inactive. And then on the right, the other fields that can affect primary location, the last update date will tell NCEES what is primary. It also plays a part in that. So for instance, this school is the home school for this staff. They're 114, they're a principal. However, NCVPS occasionally will hire them to be a teacher. And they should not be using 121 budget code. For the most part, they don't, but occasionally this gets through the cracks and crevices. So virtual public school needs to put in a different salary code so it does not overwrite what's primary here. Notice that NCDPI updated in 2018, while the homeschool last updated in 2017. The homeschool can correct this partially by updating their record to have the most recent last update date. When it gets into NCEES, it bolds the school that it sees as primary. So when you're looking in people's profiles or staff details page, whichever school shows as bold is what NCEES thinks is primary. Any questions about the primary location? So you can open a ticket if you have any of those issues. All right, it's 11 o'clock. You guys are hanging in there with me. All right, what's next? So later this year, we are looking at adding a demographic of support. Currently, everybody comes in as administrative or instructional. Administrative, your principals, your superintendents, that classified support role is in administrative. Instructional is your teachers, your counselors, your social workers, your instructional tech, all of those. Now, we've had lots and lots of requests for people that are not certified to be in NCEES, or maybe they are certified, but they're not included in these roles up here. So we're getting ready to enable support area here. And under support will be those roles that can access NCEES for PD only, so that they can go take those state courses or take courses that you're putting in the system in your PD office. So we're currently working with our EC, Exceptional Children's Department at DPI, and we're testing out these codes. The first three, the 132, should already be coming in NCEES because we have 132 audiologist role. They do not get evaluated in NCEES, but they were inherited when NCEES was first set up, so they've always been in NCEES. We're going to further define the roles and make sure when we go to next year, once this is implemented, that they will fall under support and not instructional, because they should not be getting evaluated in NCEES. And then the next ones are new codes, the 144s with the aligned purpose codes to define a role. These here, the 144s and 145s, are what we're currently testing. So once these are in and we get them into production, then look for us to add more additional codes that will define roles for the support demographic that is for accessing PD only. The PD only staff will not be targeted to any plan type, so you should not be able to assign plans to them. However, they may have been in NCEES in the past, and they may need to see their past evaluations. So this is what a support role person is going to see when they log into NCEES. They'll have the home, the help guides, professional development to search for courses, my courses to manage the courses they've signed up for, transfer credit manager if they want to enter, if your district is using that for outside PD approval, the mobile app for it works with professional development and attendance, and then NCEES history. So this is actually what other staff see as my evaluation. However, since this is a support role person, they're going to see their NCEES history. So they'll see current evaluation tab, which they shouldn't have anything in, their archived evaluations if they're still in the same district, and their deactivated evaluations if they've moved to another district. So what does that mean to the person managing the staff roster on the My Staff page? It means you're going to have a lot of additional names on the roster page. You're going to see the support roles as well as administrative and instructional. You can filter out the support role if you just need to assign plan types to instructional and administrative staff. So I put a little graphic here on how to do this, and we'll have additional help guides as we get closer to this. But you can filter out the support roles so that you don't see them. I am working with PowerSchool to hopefully get this to stick. Currently, you have to set it every time I think you go in here. Set the filter to hide the support staff. But hopefully we have other pages in NCEES where you can set the filters and they stick for you. So hopefully we can get that to work here. But right now, you have to filter them out every time you go in there. We've had a lot of good response to get these PD only folks in the system. So if you have any comments about that, let us know. All right, now when you registered, I did ask for questions from you, what you wanted to learn today. And we had like one question, other than we had two, one about NCEES updates, and I believe I've answered that one. And then this one, if possible, I would like for you to share self-paced PDs to earn CEUs for administrators and DLC. Thanks. So again, when you go out to the NCEES course search, you can refine for the credit area and look for any that are DLCs. When I did my PD search and I put in the word admin, and then I had refined it to DLCs, I got one course, and that's this one here. Do know that DPI, the departments, a lot of them set their courses to general credit type on purpose. That's because you're going to take the course and hopefully they have notes in there as to what standards it's applied to or what standards it's tagged to. But your person would take any course, and if it has a general credit, they are supposed to submit it to your professional development person that approves what they take for their licensure credits. So the acquiring of CEUs and contact hours is subject to LEA and charter approval. So in NCEES, we have a way for you to update that. If you want to update that on their transcript, say they took a general credit course and you've approved it for DLC or leadership or something else, we do have a process if you have somebody that can manage it where a DA can update that transcript to show what you've approved it to. Or you just update it in your other system that you're putting all the credits in. All right, so here's a list of our NCEES published self-paced course list. I will be updating this again. I just updated it, but this is before I knew that NCVPS was releasing their new courses. So I'll get this updated probably in the next week or so. And then, of course, here's your NCEES website of courses to take. Does anybody have any questions about that? Did I answer your question? All right, it's 10 after 11 almost. So we're going to get into the training portion where you can earn this credit if you fill out the feedback at the end of the session. So we're going to look at end of year activities and we're going to look at reporting. So NCEES end of year. PSUs, that includes LEAs, charters, lab schools, everybody should have everything complete in NCEES by Wednesday, June 29th, 2022 at 5 p.m. I back this up a day because I have to run reports before everything closes out. So I will be running reports at the close of the day, June 30th. I'm asking that you be done by June 29th. You probably need to plan on being done before then. I don't know if you guys want to mute and let us know what day you're expecting your districts to be done. Does anybody have a comment about that? I would appreciate it if you share that with the group. When do you expect your districts to be done with NCEES plans? Or you can put it in the chat. Anybody?
Hey, Cammie, it's Eleanor.
Hey.
There's always somebody who's going to want to be in there at the last possible minute. So it's hard to say, you know, when is a good time, because there's always going to be those outliers. I think
That's
unless
true.
we can actually turn off access, then setting the deadline is not going to solve for additional data into the system after that deadline.
Right. I agree. Yep. I know some districts are trying to be done by the end of April. So yes, good comments, Eleanor. I appreciate that always. But I do want to stress, this is a strongly suggested deadline of June 29th, especially if you've not checked to make sure your peers have done what they need to do in the system, because the comprehensive plan requires it, whether they're a beginning teacher or not. The system requires that peer to be added. And I always have somebody, like Eleanor said, wanting to add a peer at the last moment. So make sure you've checked everything you need to check with who needs to have access. and that those plans are as complete as they can be by June 29th. So what you need to do is confirm your My Staff lists are accurate. And we just went over the My Staff page. You want to delete and archive any unnecessary active evaluation plans and staff evaluations. Remember that anyone with reopen access rights can also archive and delete plans. Also remember that there is no hard delete anymore in NCEES. It is actually moving the plan to deactivated. So you don't really need to worry when you delete a plan. It will go to deactivated. I have rights to restore deactivated plans should that be deactivated by mistake. And then confirm your evaluation and PDP plans are complete. So how can you check this and clean up unnecessary plans and staff evaluations? So I'm gonna, oops, come here. All right, so the first thing you need to do is to make sure your staff is correct in My Staff, and that your staff are correct, whether they belong to one school or more than one school in your district, or you need to find people who are present in more than one district. And that is under reporting. And district admins and site admins should be able to run a quick report. And you're looking for individuals. If I make that much bigger. See if we make it any bigger. Individuals, and these are alphabetical. If I can get to it here. Individuals who belong to sites in more than one district. Those are where your payroll HR or the other district's payroll HR needs to correct the active status in staff UID. And then individuals who belong to sites in more than one site within a district. So these are people who have moved from school A to school B, or they're people who belong at school A and school B because they share what they're teaching with more than one school. So make sure those are correct. There are some staff that should have been inactivated in the previous school within a district, and now they're at school B. Make sure that all those are updated and work with your HR to make sure everybody is correct in NCEES. Any of those updates takes overnight to process from UID to NCEES, so this needs to be done early. And then the other area that you can go check is in your staff evaluations. And so if you have more than one plan, where do you go to archive and delete it? So we're going to go to staff evaluations. And if you have the access rights, you can archive and delete plans here. So this sets it to archive and it puts that little symbol on this page. If you delete, it comes off the page and it goes, and only the owner of the plan, the teacher, the support staff, can then see it when they go to My Evaluations, Deactivated Plans tab. That's where you go. If you don't see this drop down and you think you should, open a ticket. All right, as you're hiring new staff, as your district is hiring new staff, occasionally they go ahead and HR makes the staff active, even though they're still employed at another school. Or they were employed at another school. They're not employed, but they're actually not starting until 2022, 2023. They should not be made active until on or after July 1, 2022. And that's so they don't show up in NCEES, and NCEES site admins and everybody like, oh my gosh, they don't have an evaluation. How did I miss that? It's because that person should not be in NCEES yet until the new school year. So for the teachers and support staff plans, Here are the evaluation locking activity that must be done before that summary evaluation opens up. Comprehensive requires 3 observations and the peer to be complete. The standard evaluation requires the 3 observations. Peer is optional. Abbreviated, 2 observations, peer is optional. Late hire, 1 is required. Can you do more on these? Yes. But these are what is required to open the summary evaluation container. And then here's just a look at the locking activities that happen when you lock the whole activities and for each activity. Observation 1, 2, 3, peer, and the summary once it's fully complete. Some questions you need to ask. How can you check if a plan is locked? What reports will I run at the end of the school year? What is the status of completion of the evaluation and PDP plans? So here's one area that you can check your evaluation locking activities. It does show on staff evaluations in the summary evaluation container once it's locked. Remember, it won't be open until all these others are completed and locked. So once you see the lock icons there, or you can go to quick reports. There is an activity lock report out there. There's also the evaluation completion exception report and the evaluation summary report. Go look at those real quick to show you. All right, give me just 1 minute. See if I can be a principal to show you these. Oh, and Billy, yeah, I'll show the green dots again. Okay, while I'm waiting for that to load up, Billy wanted to see. All right, this is what needs to be completed before the summary container opens. Okay. All right, so a couple of areas to see if plans are locked. One is to go to staff evaluations. You can add filters out here. I'll do summary evaluation equal to completed. Let's see if that gives us any. All right. Now, these are training accounts, so I may have unlocked some containers. But normally, like in this top bar, it's probably a little small. Let's see if I get too big, it comes off the screen. This comprehensive plan, you would have seen a lock on the observation 1, a lock on observation 2, a lock on observation 3, a lock on the peer, and then the summary would be locked. And I don't know if all of you know, but you can click on these icons and actually open the plan to that activity rather than clicking on the teacher's name. All right, so that's one area to see completions. We're going to come back to that in just a minute. The other area for locking is to go to reporting. And again, it's under the quick reports. And the very first one is your activity lock report for this current year. And then you also have any of these evaluation summary reports. Once you've completed everything, you do need to run those. The other area is to come back to staff evaluations, go under this graph icon, and you're going to run evaluation completion. I'll do comprehensive. Now, when you first load up a plan type, and you do have to only do one plan type, It comes with everything checked. I don't want everything checked. I want to deselect all. I want to see the locking. Control F comes in handy. All right, I'm not going to worry about the additionals. Once I've checked what I want to see, I need to refresh the page. And then I can scroll down and I can see that I have 4 people on the comprehensive plan here. 1 has not started, 3 are in progress, and nobody is fully complete. I can scroll down even further. This is showing in progress because I've unlocked something here. Normally this would show complete if the locking is complete. So I hope that's not confusing to you, but these are training accounts. So if locking is complete, it could not have been completed unless all the previous is completed. This first column is your overall status. So you can see who's not started their plan, who's in progress. And like I said, this top one should be showing complete, but I've re-opened something and when I was testing something out. You can print this with the graph icon here, download a CSV. It does not come with the pretty colors. You'd have to reformat that in Excel. You can click into any of these to drill down and see what's going on with each section. Where are people stuck at? All right, and then there's a PDF printer here as well. That is one I highly recommend, is to run that evaluation completion report. And I don't think I showed you over here under reporting, quick reports. You do also have this evaluation completion exception report. Once you click on it, just keep clicking through until you see the word done and then run your report. And this is a great report. It's going to show you what's completed, what's not started, what's in progress. And again, you can download a CSV or a TSV, or you can do a PDF. Okay. All right, here's what I just showed you, how to get only what you want to see on the evaluation completion report on staff evaluations. Or you can run ad hoc reports. And we've just held 2 reporting webinars for district administrators and site administrators. District administrators, you have the right to run an ad hoc report, to create and run an ad hoc report. Here's some of the topics that you probably want to use when you click over into ad hoc reports. There's the assessment completion, where you can create a report for the self-assessment activity statuses. Evaluation forms, you can include orientation activities. Observation and conference dates can be run in that topic. The evaluation form single row, maybe you're looking for signature statuses, you can find it under that. Evaluation status, you can create your own mock activity reports and maybe include some additional fields that are not in the quick report. And then you can also do evaluation process completion under here. Observations. Observations, you cannot run ratings on an observation, so you're not going to see developing and so on in the observation reports, because you're not checking those during observations. You're checking those descriptors, and that's what's going to show in your reports. However, you can run a summary evaluation report with comments under the observation topic. And then finally, observation single row topic. This is where you can run those summary evaluations and include your standard and elements to get all the ratings. So here's a link to the webinars we just held if you want an in-depth on ad hoc reporting. It's that second one. So here's just did a couple of views, and we showed these during the ad hoc reports webinar. This is the evaluation form single row, looking at signatures. So I just told it to include the signature for all of the activities. So you decide what you want included on your report, evaluation plan, the signature of the evaluator, the evaluator's acknowledgement, the teacher's acknowledgement, and so on. And then here's an example of a summary ratings report for observation single row. And in here, I just included the standard ratings. Okay. Does anybody have any reporting questions you would like?
Hey, Cammie, it's Eleanor. I just put this
Yes.
in the chat, but we've run across a need around those signature reports. There
Mhm.
isn't a good way to actually bump that up against other kinds of reports because there is no unique ID available for the signer. It's all buried in that little block of text that says accepted by the person's name on such and such a date. So you can't get that out. Where we ran into it is we're getting ready for our BTSP audit next year or next
Yes.
fall. And what we'd really like to be able to do is bump up our qualified mentor list against the PDP mentor signatures.
Right.
But there isn't a way to do that because there is not a unique ID in the mentor signature report.
Okay. And this is, you're building it out in ad hoc?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, let me take that back and see if that can be included.
Yeah. So we've reached out to
PowerSchool?
PowerSchool, and basically they said they'd have to build it out. They'd have to build it as a separate report.
Oh, really?
So
Okay. Rather than just add a field on the report in ad hoc? Oh, yeah, I'll ask.
that's what they said. So
okay. Yeah, let me take a look at that and see why. Of course, I didn't click everything on this page, but apparently it doesn't include employee ID and signer IDs. Okay, you need both. Okay, thank you.
right.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
If there is something missing over here,
Mm-hmm.
that would be great.
Yeah, I quite agree. All right, thank you for mentioning that. Yeah. And I see you got a great request. So other people are wanting that too.
Well, that's actually my teammate on this particular use
in your
case.
district. Okay. Yes. Okay.
But it comes up a lot because we have any signer, if you've got someone signing an observation conference or you've got someone signing off, we do sometimes have people who either accidentally or for whatever reason sign off on something, and it's
right
because we can't bump up against somebody a list of people who are meeting certain criteria to participate in different activities.
Correct. Okay. Understood. Okay. I will follow up on that. All right. Thank you. All right. So during end of year, from middle year to the end of year, you can continue as an administrator to recommend or require PD for courses. This can be done in the observation rubric, and I have the guide for the light bulb feature that's in that observation rubric. Hopefully, if anybody needs to see that, let me know. But you can continue to use that to recommend or require courses. I was just recently checking into when you're an admin and you go to open somebody's evaluation, at the bottom of an evaluation activities is this recommend learning opportunities. I thought, oh, this is cool. The people like this. So you can click in here, click add opportunity, and go add courses. However, when I assumed like your level of identity, you could only view what was already recommended or already required. So I would love to hear from you guys. I know site administrators are all the time asking, how do I go recommend courses? So I'm wondering why this is here if it's not allowing you to add an opportunity. It's only allowing a super user to do that. So from what I can tell. So next time you're in there, check that out. What do you all think? Do you think the site administrators would love to be able to use this container? Because you can enter at any point of the year to add PD opportunities for your staff. So I'm going to get with PowerSchool, I think, and see why the site administrators don't have this add opportunity button in this container. And why we still have this here if they can't do that. Any comments about that? We need a Monday wake up chat. All right, just a big reminder, run, and save any reports that you will need for summer and next school year. Make sure you save hard copies digital of staff plans when they leave during the year, because their plans go with them. We just talked about how their plans would deactivate. They go with them. They themselves should be saving these to a hard drive or print out a hard copy, because even especially if they go to another district, they're going to be calling you if they did not take their own copy with them. So train your staff to print their own copies of the NCEES plans that they've been working in, and if they've been taking PD in NCEES, that NCEES PD transcript. So this has been suggested, so I'm going to say be careful with the next one. Work with payroll to possibly leave staff that are not going to another district active until June 29th. That should say 2022. However, if this staff is going to another district, they need to be inactivated. The reasoning behind this is so once they leave your district and they're no longer connected to your district, then they may not show up on reports. They probably won't show up on any reports. So make sure you do this first step. If they're leaving, keep a copy of what you're going to need to provide to the superintendent over the summer, whatever they want for all the staff. But be careful with that next one. And then, of course, make sure you do not activate brand new 2022-23 staff until after July 1. All right. I wanted to show you again how to export a plan to PDF. We are going to have an in-depth webinar on this at the end of the month. So I'm going to show you where to go. And that will wrap up our training in just a few minutes. So if you're a district administrator, you're going to go to System Administration. Export a plan to PDF. Okay. Here's your page. You won't see anything on here if you've never run reports. I can see the reports that everybody's been trying to run. So it looks like some people have been running reports here. And then you can say how long they're available. But we're going to get started. This is your dashboard page. You're going to schedule a new export. And you need to decide which report you want to run. I'm going to do a search and see if we can narrow this list down. There we go. All right, so I'm searching for 2022. You could also do a filter if you wanted to. This is statewide, so you're seeing larger numbers here. So maybe I want to do my comprehensive plan. I want the summary report for next year. Am I going to do a full export, a partial export, a template export, or an advanced export? We're going to work with partial export today because I don't want all the data. I just want summary evaluation for my end of year. Now I need to decide what activities do I want to include in this report. So I'm going to uncheck everything and just check what I need. I'm going to scroll down to summary evaluation. So I want signatures, acknowledgments, if they did a written response. You decide what you want in your report. Was the container locked? Do I want any of these? I do want another school assignment. Then if you wanted to know who had access to the summary evaluation, area to this plan, you can check those as well. I'm not interested in that. I just want the summary evaluation. Notice you could also include that observation scoring summary if you want to compare what was actually checked in the form to what was showing in the scoring summary. And then we're going to click next. And then who do I want to include in this report? I could do specific users and just add the users I wanted to be in the report. I could do specific districts. Maybe I just want to do certain schools. So you decide which district needs to be included, or maybe which ones need to be excluded. Or you can drill down into the schools. These are all my training sites. So this would be your specific sites is your schools. District is what districts you have access to. Or you can exclude certain schools. I'm just going to leave it on all just for purpose of training today, but do know that you could just do specific schools. And then next. Notification recipient, who is getting this report or getting notified that this report is run? And so it should pop up there. Being very slow. There we go. And then you just click it, it adds you to it. You can add more than one that's in NCEES. If you need to notify somebody that's not in NCEES, you can add their emails here and separate them with a comma. Click next. What do I want to name this report? What is the PDF name going to be? There are macros you can put in here. This report, notice, does not pull employee ID. You do need to add that as a macro if you want it, if you want the ID listed somewhere. So these you can't like click up here and copy. I'll try to add a slide. I included in my webinar slides where you can copy and paste these, but you would just need to put the macro in there. Exactly as it shows. It's capital I. Yep. So include as much as you want in there in the name. Don't check this box. Exclude unique record ID if employee ID is included, or you're not going to get a report on this person if you're including ID. And then delivery method. You must check the second one down. This will not go to your FTP. We are a statewide system and you don't have access to DPI's FTP. So this, you will need to deliver it. It'll send you an email and you'll come back to that dashboard I just showed you to download your report. And then when do you want this report to run? I'm going to run it by the end of May so I can make sure everything is all right before the end of June. And then how long do you want it to be available for? You pick a date. All right. Do I want to exclude people that are inactive that will show up in this report? You can check that box. Do I want to include file attachments in what I've requested? Maybe, maybe not. Do I want to export only completed plans? That's your decision. I'm just going to pull all so I can see what's complete and what's not. And then only run those reports for people that have shared their observations. Well, hopefully all your administrators already shared. I'm not going to check that box. And then site options. associate the evaluation plan to the owner's current location, associate the evaluation plan to the location of the owner when the plan was started. That's who owns the plan, the district and the person when the plan was started. So I always just leave that bulleted. Or do I want to associate it to their current primary location, which if the data is not clean in the system and they have more than one location, it might be the wrong primary location. So I'm going to leave it on the middle bullet and I'm going to click finalize. It gives me a chance to review and make any changes. If I like what I see, what I've requested to be in this report, then I can click schedule export. And now it shows in my queue and it's scheduled to run May 31st. I can view what I just did. I can copy it to start another report, or I can cancel if I don't think that I need this anymore. Now, when reports complete, I don't know if I have any in here. No. It will give you this I here. So if you ran a report and it says completed 0, failed 0, you might have checked that box I told you not to check, the one about the UIDs or the IDs. So check that area if you're getting 0, 0. They fixed a lot of our error messages. Let me look here. And Sally, I hope you don't mind me showing. Yeah, the error messages are not here. But it will show you the error. All right, so here's one that has the error message. I had to do a filter to find it. If you have a lot of staff, there was an error processing this record. Please try again or contact your administrator. So you could try to go run the report again and just run it for this person. Or if it still fails, you need to open a ticket and we'll get with PowerSchool to check into why this was wrong. But they fixed a lot of errors that were coming up a year or so ago on this PDF report. Oh, let me show you. Come back. All right, so you can view, you can copy, you can view details, you can delete what's run here, or you can click into this and you can download it from here. You get a zip file. It will be sorted by location and then by person's names usually. So they will be divided up in the zip file and they are awesome to save and keep. Do we have anybody on the call that's been using export a plan to PDF? Can you speak to if you like this process for the individual reports and if you recommend this for other districts to use? I have a quiet group today. Is anybody not using this yet that thinks they might want to try it? I would recommend. Yep. Yep. So I haven't used it, but it looks great. Yep. So think of all the different reports you can use, especially if you're just doing the partial reports. You can check what you need. I have help guides for those beginning teacher requirements that you do the beginning teacher. And then I have the help guide for the summary evaluation setup. Right. And we just went through, there's that the text where you can copy. All right, so that was your training for today. So we didn't need any extra time because you guys are really quiet today. Do we have any comments and do you have anything that you expected to hear or see today? Please go ahead and unmute and let us know. I'm going to put this feedback in the chat. Please do fill out feedback. Let us know how it went. We want to bring you what you need to know so that you can take it back to your districts and do any presentations you need to do for your principals or superintendents. Let us know what you need. All right, you're welcome. And I did want to mention, we have a few people that have been taking advantage of my appointment hours. So if you have a team, you're trying out something new, maybe you want to try out these ad hoc PDF reports, make an appointment with me. And if you can't find a time on this Calendly link, just email me and we'll work out a time. If you need longer than a half an hour, maybe you're getting your little group together and you want time like an hour, just let me know when you submit the appointment that you're going to need an hour and we'll set that up. All right. Okay, I don't see any questions. You're very welcome. I see a lot of thank yous. Thank you for joining me today on this Monday. Kind of dreary outside, but I'm glad we can get together for the home-based meetups for NCEES. And if everybody's good, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recorder. Thank you for joining. You guys have a great week.